I think the Green Party will get more votes than UKIP.
Do you?
If they're not, I'll be.
Do you want to put a bet on that? £10.
Okay. Richard, how's it been going?
Very well. A lot of positive support. A lot of people saying under their breath, "We're going to vote for you." So they still haven't got the confidence yet to come out and be out and out UKIP, but a lot better than expected.
Daniel, how's it been going for you?
Yeah, very well. A lot of people are coming out. They support the Green message, and they're actually saying, not under their breath, but they're actually telling me they're going to vote Green.
I'm not disappointed. No, it's better than I could have hoped for. So no, it's all it's very good. I'm very pleased. So I've had three people today say to me, "We don't want to vote for you because we might let Labour in." And when I say just vote for what you believe in, vote for who you want, and you never know what will happen.
And yourself?
Yeah, something similar. I mean, people should vote Green, and they should vote for what they believe rather than for voting tactically.
Yeah, but people are going to vote tactically, aren't they? I mean, it's still really between Labour and Conservative, isn't it?
No, there's an online poll that put UKIP at 39% on Brentford. I think it's the Brentford TWA website.
39%.
Yeah.
And what did it say about Greens?
I don't know. Nigel, what did the poll say on their website? This is the man who was telling me about the poll.
39%.
What about Greens?
I think they were quite a lot lower, actually.
Yeah? Oh.
I mean, these polls.
So I treat that with a certain amount of scepticism, I'm afraid to say.
Now, I noticed that both at the hustings and here, you two are very amiable, affable with each other, when your politics are very much opposed.
Well, you can have different beliefs, but there's nothing stopping people being nice and polite and civil.
Yeah, I mean, I totally disagree with what Richard says.
Almost everything.
Half of it anyway. But I would defend to the death his right to say that.
Okay, what do you disagree most about? What he has to say?
Immigration. I think the idea of cutting back on immigration and foreign aid. So we didn't see eye to eye on foreign aid. The Green Party actually want to increase foreign aid to 1% of GDP, and I think Richard would like to cut it back.
Massively, yes.
And what do you say to that?
Well, I say we should start looking after people here first before we look after the rest of the world. We have people, elderly people who can't get cancer treatment or medication because the NHS decides to stop it because they've only got a small pool of money. So I say let's get our own house in order first, and that means cutting the foreign aid.
Have you travelled to third world
I have,
countries?
yes.
Well, the difference is colossally different, isn't it? I mean, what we see as people being poor, when you go to third world countries, the moment you step out of that airport, you see something which you would never see here in Brentford.
It's a different context completely. If we go back to sort of our obligations, we have a national health service. It's not the international health service, and I believe that we should put Britain first and British people first.
Okay.
And I believe we should have foreign aid, but we should use it sensibly. So, for instance, when we have, I think we had that earthquake yesterday, that would be an ideal thing for foreign aid, not to send it to India where they have a space program. I don't know what you think about foreign aid going to India where they have a space program, because to me that's at odds. If a country can afford to have a space program, then they should be able to afford to look after their people. I didn't quite understand that.
So, I mean, I don't know what percentage of foreign aid does go to India, but I mean, the truth of the matter is that in this world, there's 2.5 billion people who don't even have a toilet, and I don't think it's wrong that as a very advanced and civilised country, that's something we should be looking to address.
What about us going to deal with something like Ebola in West Africa? Would you rather we just turned away?
No, I completely agree. It's those kind of things that we should use our foreign aid for. Those real disasters that require intervention from the international scene.
Okay, what about Mediterranean immigrants? What we've been seeing, boats going down, people dying. What's your view on that, Richard?
Well, I mean, firstly, any loss of life is tragic, and you can understand these people are doing it to try to make a better life for themselves. But I think we have to be strict and enforce the rules, the immigration policies. Otherwise, it encourages more people to come. So I agree with Nigel Farage when he said no, they should be fed, watered, looked after, and then sent back to where they've come from.
What do you say to that?
Well, it's a very tragic situation. I mean, I'm sure both of us were very upset by the loss of life.
It was horrendous.
People dying, drowning. It's absolutely tragic.
So what would you do about it?
So, well, I'm very pleased that the EU has actually tripled the amount that they're going to spend on search and rescue. I think that's the right way forward. You can't just have people just dying, for lack of a bit of spending on search and rescue.
Okay, what do you most disagree with about Daniel's policies?
Well, I mean, I haven't read the manifesto in detail, but I did notice one thing, and that is you want to give gypsies more rights.
Right.
And I don't quite understand that when most people are against gypsies sort of who come onto their land and destroy the area. So I don't quite understand why the Greens want to give gypsies more rights.
So I'm not sure that gypsies do come onto people's land and destroy the area. I think that's a bit of a misconception.
Well, when I was in the police, I dealt with many instances where we would have to go to fights in gypsy camps, and they would leave and they would destroy. From my experience, I've seen the devastation that they cause. So for me, I don't understand why anybody wants to give them more rights.
Because they're human beings. I mean, they should have the same rights as.
So why can't? But they don't have a right to squat on someone's land, do they? They should be in a flat or a house like everyone else, not have a right to destroy and impinge upon people's property. Anyway, that's one I don't understand.
Mr. Miliband is turning out to be a bit of a surprise, don't you think?
Well, he started on a very low base, you see. So before the campaign started, everyone was like, well, he's going to crash and burn. He has done better than what people thought he would do. So, but nevertheless, he's still not been amazing and not exceptional. People still can't see him as the Prime Minister. And when I mention it to people as they're walking by, they laugh and joke.
Yeah.
So, and they say, yesterday some chap said, I voted for his brother, but not for him, and I won't vote for Labour because of him.
But Nigel Farage's not been doing very well, has he, personally?
No, he has. We had a very good poll this week. We have many polls, and the media tries to pick up on one poll. It's putting us down, but no.
He's lost his sparkle.
No, he's not. He's doing very well.
Don't you think that the more people see him, they get a bit bored with him?
No, I don't think they do. No, I think
he was a novelty to begin with.
And he's still a novelty now. I think it's great. We've got so many people in UKIP coming through, like Suzanne Evans, who's our deputy chair, who wrote the manifesto. She's a breath of fresh air. Apart from being female, she's very competent, very dynamic, and she'll reach out to people who we have not reached out to in the past.
What do you think about the performance of your leader, Natalie Bennett?
Well, Natalie's done very well. I mean, we have to remember the Greens have done extremely well under her watch. So we've tripled our membership. We now have over 60,000 members, even up from the number I quoted at the hustings, which was 58,000. And I mean, she has to take the credit for that. She's obviously able to reach out to people and engage with them.
Yeah. Okay. SNP. What do you think of the SNP?
I think they'll be pulling the puppet strings of Miliband when he's in power. I think they're a very dangerous party, and they are actually a party of hate and division. They want to divide Scotland from the rest of the United Kingdom. We're not a party of hate and division. We're a party that wants to control immigration and have sensible policies. We don't hate anybody. We're not anti-immigrants. We're anti-bad immigration policies.
Now, Ruth Cadbury, because she's a Quaker, would not be voting for Trident. So basically, she's going to be voting alongside the SNP, isn't she?
Well, I think she'll get into bed with the SNP as will all the other Labour MPs because they want power. Although Miliband has said that he won't do any deals or of that sort, but of course they will. They'll be propped up by the SNP, and I think 2020 is the year for UKIP and for the Greens because people will be so fed up with a Labour government that doesn't represent ordinary working people anymore, being propped up by SNP who are very single-minded, and they'll have enough, and they'll come in their droves to the Greens and UKIP.
It's going to be a coalition between
I very much doubt it, but I think Richard does make a good point that I think people are just fed up with the politics, the business as usual. They're fed up with Labour, they're fed up Conservative, they're fed up the Liberal Democrats for joining the coalition, and so people will vote Green and people will vote UKIP, maybe different people, as a protest.
Yeah. What do you think of SNP, Daniel?
I admire them. I think they've got some very good policies. I think they've got a very charismatic leader. The Green Party canvassed alongside them for Scottish devolution, so I have a lot of respect for the SNP.
Okay, which policies do you particularly like?
It's pretty much all of their policies. I mean,
you want to break up with the union?
Well, I'm not opposed to that at all.
Why?
The Green Party, because if Scotland wants to govern itself, I think that's what we have to look at.
What do you think about fiscal autonomy for Scotland? Do you think there really is a 9 billion black hole?
I mean, I don't know the details. I mean, I'm not. This is a Scottish constituency. It's really a question for the SNP rather than
Sturgeon may have charisma, but she doesn't seem able to add up.
I think that's a question for her, really.
Well, I don't know much about Scotland, but what I do know is they base their calculations on the cost of oil a year and a half ago, and as we know, oil's dropped. At the end of the day, Scotland voted to stay in the United Kingdom. I don't quite know what that woman and that man are doing now, trying to reignite this issue. It has been decided democratically. Let's move on together in a union.
Will you get more votes, you, than Daniel?
Well, we've had the result of the poll.
Well, I mean, the poll puts me on 39%.
I think,
and it's clearly a very reliable poll on Brentford TWA website.
I think the Green Party. I think the Green Party will get more votes than UKIP.
Do you?
If they're not, I'll be.
Do you want to put a bet on that? £10.
Okay, that's £10. Okay, you've got the money.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to guarantee
you to look after.
What sort of numbers? Give me a number. What you might get.
Well, I mean, clearly one would like to win, and you never know what can happen in these kind of marginal seats. If people voted what they wanted, then who knows what can happen. I will definitely get the deposit back. I will be up there near what the Lib Dems got last time.
Daniel, what do you think?
I mean, I don't really want to talk about numbers. I don't think that's really helpful. But I think at the end of the day, people will vote Green because they'll vote for what they believe in. I think people are just fed up of the fudging and equivocation that you get from the other major parties.
You'll get your deposit back?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Certainly. Yep. Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen, and remember the bet. We won't forget it. Okay. All right.